Back home to mommy. She goes back home to mommy. Was that you, darling? And then she gets the hell knocked out of her. Her mother's a big fan of ours. You know that, right? Her father, her mother.
It never fits quite right.
Never fits quite right. Just not quite right. How do you give it back?
Governor, what kind of gun is it?
This was a Beretta A400. I bought it when I was shooting a lot of trap because it has a kind of their patented thing, a kickoff. So when you get old, it doesn't hurt your shoulder as much.
It's been a busy weekend so far on the 2024 campaign trail. For instance, Donald Trump just wrapped up a rally in the Coachella Valley of California, which you might be asking, why is Trump going to California this late in the election? Well, we'll give you that explanation, as well as Tim Walz apparently not knowing how to use his own guns. Alleged gun owner, by the way. Yeah, right. That is just so laughable. So that and much more in today's video. So folks, do us a big favor. If you enjoy the content, be sure to hit that like button down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Why should you subscribe? Because your subscriptions go a long way in ensuring we can keep bringing you these videos. And by the way, it is totally free and also a great way to stay updated on the news. All you got to do is hit that red button down below your screen right now. And with that said, I feel like I should play this as a refresher course because the central theme of this past week, and I think the past couple weeks, is that the Kamala campaign is starting to wobble. Some would use the word, it is starting to collapse. That is not just something that the conservatives are saying, that is something also that liberal media is saying, and the Kamala campaign quietly seems to be admitting to, considering the fact they basically changed their entire outreach strategy out of nowhere this week. But yesterday we covered this video where Kamala was speaking at Friday night's event, and her brain apparently did not make it through airport security. Take a listen.
So when we think about what's at stake in this election, whoa, it's packed with some stuff. It's packed with some fundamental stuff. I say rather articulately.
So many of you saw that in yesterday's video, but I play it again to reemphasize that it just gets worse for them, right? They always find new ways to screw things up or bring on unneeded liability on themselves. And that cycle repeated today with yet another gaffe. And this is not really a verbal gaffe, but rather a physical one, where Tim Walz did this little photo op going, I believe, hunting or skeet shooting, one of those things, and trying to show off, look, I'm a gun owner. You know, this whole line, me and Tim Walz are both gun owners. We're pro Second Amendment, except you watch the video here and you really have to question whether Tim Walz has actually ever owned or used a gun in his entire life. Take a look.
Governor, what kind of gun is it?
This is a Beretta A400. I bought it when I was shooting a lot of trap because it has a kind of their patented thing, a kickoff. So when you get old, it doesn't hurt your shoulder as much.
It looks like, I don't even, we have Elmer Fudd, okay? We have Elmer Fudd apparently running as the vice president, and that is the news on the Kamala/Tim Walz front. Tim Walz doesn't know how to load a gun. Kamala Harris doesn't know how to speak. It's just, again, a disaster situation, and there's a reason why their campaign is in a bit of a panic mode, which we will talk about later in this video. But first, I'll bring this up since it is the lead title. Donald Trump did, on the flip side, go to California to do a campaign rally earlier today.
We will defend our communities. We will defend our civilization. We will not be conquered. We will not be occupied. We will not be invaded. We will reclaim our sovereignty. We will reclaim our nation, and I will give back your freedom and give back your life. Everyone will prosper, every family will thrive, and every day will be filled with opportunity and hope. But for that to happen, we must defeat Kamala Harris and stop her radical left agenda once and for all.
So that's obviously very solid political messaging by Trump. But of course, people may also ask the question, okay, that was cool, right? Trump and Coachella, it's Trumpchella or something like that. But why exactly on October 13th, this close to the election, are you wasting time with a state like California, a state that obviously Trump will not win? Okay. And I'll say that as well. I know some people are going to say, maybe we do have a shot at New York. Maybe we do have a shot at California. I'm going to warn you right now, official prediction. Okay. We have a shot at making them a lot closer than 2020 or 2016, but he's not going to win. But on the flip side, okay, so in that case, why do you go to California? Is it maybe a slight display of arrogance or what's going on here? I'll give you the two main reasons, which is, first of all, Trump is not just playing to win the election. He's also playing to do something with the political power once he takes the presidency. And it's a simple fact that while California might not matter, quote unquote, on the presidential level, it absolutely does on the congressional level. And the same is true of New York, right? California and New York, obviously two of the biggest states. There are Republican districts in both of those places. There are swing districts. As you saw back in 2022, some of those blue state swing districts can literally decide control of the House of Representatives. And that at its core is the reason Trump took a visit to that state. But secondly, should also be noted, Coachella, yes, is in Southern California, but it's also along I-10, which is on the way out to Arizona. So it's kind of drifting towards that neighborhood in terms of the location choice. I don't know statistically how many people from Lake Havasu or even further inland in Arizona actually attended this event, but that's also worth noting. But of course, number three, I will also just say, why did Trump go to Coachella? Because again, it's pretty cool, right? It's the same reason that Trump plans to do, I believe it was announced, his final campaign rally in Madison Square Garden in New York, because sometimes optics really are important. And I think that's what Trump achieved by barnstorming in the bluest state in the country, is good optics. By the way, what it also signals to me is a confident campaign. On the flip side, Kamala Harris and her campaign, as I've been saying, the past couple of weeks has not sounded all that confident. In fact, they sound incredibly desperate. And if you don't believe me now, you might sense the desperation of their latest political attack. Take a listen.
So today I released my medical records, as has, I believe, every candidate for president of the United States except Donald Trump in this election cycle. And it's just a further example of his lack of transparency, that on top of his unwillingness to debate again, his unwillingness to do an interview with 60 Minutes, which again is part of the norm of what anyone running for president of the United States does. And I think that it's obvious that his team, at least, does not want the American people to see everything about who he is. And you put that on top of even the most recent reports of General Milley, one of the people who worked the closest with Donald Trump, referring to him as being unstable. And it is clear to me that he and his team do not want the American people to really see what it is that he is doing and whether or not he actually is fit to do the job of being president of the United States.
This is strong evidence that at this point, they're just throwing things at the wall and hoping that they stick, okay? Because if you didn't really catch that, the new attack line by the Kamala campaign is that Trump didn't release his medical records. Does he have some type of medical problem that the American people don't know about? How can he serve office? Hey, medical issues. What? You know, again, what this is a signal of is desperation, because now they realize, okay, initially Kamala started out trying to be this like working class populist. She said she's gonna stop price gouging and create the opportunity economy and all this nonsense, and it didn't work. Okay, so then they transition to, all right, in that case, let's sell out to Mark Cuban, let's sell out to the donors, and let's appeal to, the corporate interests by saying that Kamala Harris is actually going to be good for business. She's not a socialist anymore. Now she's the biggest capitalist ever, and she loves corporate America, something like that. That didn't work, okay? Then you have these ridiculous stunts where Tim Walz tries to say, I'm a gun owner, but I don't know how to load my Beretta. Kamala Harris tries to claim, I'm a normal person. I'm definitely not an alien or something. Now, look at me laugh. Call her daddy. And now that everything they've been trying keeps failing. I'm a moderate. Nobody believes it. I'm a capitalist. Nobody believes it. Now the attack line you're going to run on is, oh, well, Donald Trump might have some type of medical issue that we don't know about. We're just going to spread conspiracy theories in that regard. Desperate. An absolutely desperate campaign. Folks, as I keep saying, they are currently in panic mode, okay? Democrat pundits are saying this, even their own campaign, by the tactics, by the strategy, all right? They are not confident about this election. They are throwing things at the wall now and hoping that they stick. They're throwing out the kitchen sink, if you will. Okay? That's why Kamala did so many interviews this week, right? She never does interviews. Her team knows every time she does an interview, it's a risk. But if they perceive that they're losing, they're like, okay, throw the Hail Mary pass. And then what happens? She goes on TV and says she would do nothing differently from Joe Biden. But hey, you had to try something. Now this whole thing about Donald Trump has health issues. Again, I don't think it's going to work. Okay, it's kind of one of the dumber or just more nonsensical attacks they've come up with. But hey, again, a desperate campaign has to try everything. And that is exactly what you are watching. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comment section down below. Be sure to leave a like on this video. Subscribe if you are new. Let me know what your current prediction is for the November 5th election. And until next time, God bless and peace.